Welcome to the GAMERamble video review for Lode Runner Legacy, narrated by me, Dark Cloud. As always, the full text version of this review can be found on the GAMERamble website linked below. Also, please keep in mind that this review was originally published in 2017. The TLDR is that Lode Runner Legacy takes the addictive gameplay of the classic title and spruces it up with some brand new voxel visuals. In addition to the 150 original levels, the game also includes brand new adventure as well as puzzle levels, along with leaderboards. Best of all, Lode Runner Legacy features editors to help you create everything from your own levels to custom characters, enemies and items. Fans expecting the newer features introduced in later Lode Runner titles might find the game a little too simple for their taste, but everyone who loved the original is in for a treat. Gameplay receives a 9 out of 10. Lode Runner Legacy features adventure, puzzle, classic and extra game modes along with leaderboards and editors. Graphics receives an 8 out of 10. The voxel visuals are a perfect match for the style of the game. Sound receives an 8 out of 10. The audio is not exactly spectacular, but neither is it too intrusive. The overall score for Lode Runner Legacy is 8.3 out of 10. And now for the full review. From the numerous challenging levels to the addictive gameplay and simple to use editor, there are plenty of reasons why many people consider the original Lode Runner a classic. Since its release in 1983, there has been a steady stream of sequels and ports for almost every system imaginable, but the original still holds fond memories for most fans. Before the bombs, teleporters and other gimmicks added by later games, you simply ran around avoiding enemies while recovering stolen gold. Your character was incapable of jumping, and your only means of defending yourself was to use a gun that could create holes in the ground to trap enemies. Lode Runner Legacy continues in this tradition, but wraps the classic gameplay in a glossy new voxel coat. Players are once again cast in the role of runner, with the purpose of recovering stolen gold from nefarious enemies. These guys will kill you on contact, so evading them using the platforms, ropes and ladders that make up each level is vital. The gun that can dig holes directly next to you in the floor also makes the return. However, using it requires a bit more strategy than your typical video game firearm that simply shoots projectiles. Firstly, you cannot dig a hole if an enemy is too close to you, so you need to plan your moves ahead. Secondly, since you cannot dig holes directly beneath your runner, it is possible to get yourself stuck with no way of escaping. Most levels take advantage of this by placing the gold you need to collect in all kinds of tricky spots, so it's not just a case of strolling up to everything and collecting it before beating a hasty retreat. In addition to dealing with enemies chasing you down and hard to reach gold, there are also some other things to contend with as the levels become more challenging. Some blocks cannot be turned into holes, while others are hollow and cause you to fall through, but only reveal this the first time you walk over them. Also, while enemies can be killed by the holes you dug, they simply respawn, so your victory is only temporary. While the classic Lode Runner formula has been used for this game, it does offer a couple of different modes for variety. The adventure mode is the best place to start as it eases you into the game and ensures you understand all the basics before ramping up the challenge. Spread across 50 different levels, this mode introduces new enemies along the way, and levels are addictive enough that you'll constantly want to have just one more go. Lode Runner has always been equal parts puzzle and action, so it's no surprise to see a puzzle mode making an appearance. Also containing 50 different levels, this mode drops the enemies and makes it all about figuring out how to get to the gold. Some of the puzzle levels definitely requires a bit of planning and lateral thinking to pull off, but they're just as addictive as the adventure mode. One of the biggest treats in Lode Runner Legacy is the Classic mode, which offers all 150 levels of the original game. The levels in Classic mode also uses voxels instead of the original art style, but for the rest they're just as challenging and entertaining as you remember them. Some versions of the original game, like the NES release, didn't include all the original levels, so this is a great opportunity to see what you have missed if you only had access to a cut down version back in the day. A year after the game's release, it received a significant update, adding a multiplayer mode for up to 2 players along with new levels. This update also added extra mode, featuring new enemies and even more levels. Of course, the level editor contributed much to the original game's success, so it's no surprise that Lode Runner Legacy also features one. Creating levels is relatively straightforward and can also be uploaded to the game for other players to try out. Accessing levels created by the players is done via the World Levels feature, and a couple of really nice ones are available. Tozay Games didn't just stop here either, but put the voxel nature of the game to good use by providing a character as well as item editor too. Using these you can create your own runner character, enemies and custom gold items. Although these editors are slightly trickier to use than the level editor, it's still possible to pull off some impressive results. A quick browse through the Steam Workshop will reveal that fans have already created plenty of nice custom characters, such as Kirby, Bomberman, Link and even Dovahkiin. The voxel visuals are a great match for the game and give everything a polished sheen. Even though the visuals are in 3D, the game is still in 2D, so you only have to worry about moving in 4 different directions. The game includes a first-person mode, but honestly it feels more like a gimmick than anything that is genuinely useful or really needed. Lode Runner Legacy doesn't feature any backgrounds either, which is in keeping with the style of the original, but it does make it feel like the levels don't have a lot of variety in terms of visuals. Levels are all still single screen in style, but can now range from small to large, with larger levels pulling the camera back further to fit everything in. The audio is decent enough, but the tunes are all relatively unobtrusive, which is probably a good thing. The controls are also very straightforward and work well using either a keyboard or controller. The interface feels a little more cumbersome than it needs to be in terms of selecting levels and accessing options, but this doesn't detract too much from the experience. Tozer Games could simply have featured the 150 classic levels using the new voxel visuals, and most fans would still have loved this game, so all the additional content is really just a bonus. Aspects like the online rankings and user-created content also expand the longevity of this title a great deal. If you're a fan of the original game, then this is a must-have title, and even newcomers will find plenty to like about Lode Runner Legacy. Thanks for joining me for this Lode Runner Legacy PC review. Remember to like, subscribe and share. Until next time.